and the board of the National Assembly, and I'll ask them to rise once again, Sarah Kioko, Jeremiah Dombi, Dr. Muyundo Masinde, Arab Kirui, Mwendo Sheriff Sam, the man who goes to court all the time when the speaker and others are sued, does a tremendous job. The lady who every member calls and loves, Ms. Kamoni. She's been running our constituency offices. We have today our head of administration services, in joint services, Ms. Awinja. Thank you. Mr. Meikoki, Deputy Director of Finance, running mortgage and our finances. Ms. Vena Kama, Director of Legal Services and her team. Deputy Director in charge of research, Mr. Dr. Omoti. Thank you. Deputy Director in charge of Hansard. Director Peter Chemweno in charge of departmental committees. The indomitable Florence Atenyo Abonyo, Director of Audit and Appropriation and other general purpose committees. Have I forgotten any person? Yes. Oh, Chief Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Lekulo, and our head of catering, the ones who gives us food, Mr. Masonko, and the head of procurement, CPO. Honorable Speaker, that team has been offering tremendous support to the administrative side of the National Assembly. And we are also going to have a session with the Director General, Parliamentary Joint Services, Honorable Speaker, so that he can have an opportunity also to respond to questions relating to Bunge Tower, the challenges of the lifts, and anything that members would want to be responded to. Director General PJ, yes, you are here, Asante Sana, together with the Director Irongo of Finance and the lady who you will always call in the unfortunate event that you lose your seat, Ms. Wata. Ms. Wata will explain once again to you matters relating to your pension. But we are also going to have an opportunity with her so that she can explain to you something we call the group personal accident cover, which is a cover that you have, but you rarely interact with it. You only get to know about it if anything bad happens. And the Commission instructed that every time we have such sessions, we take members through it so that you know what is covered in it. So in a nutshell, Honorable Speaker, that is the program, and we look forward to fruitful engagement. Honorable Chairperson of the session, may I hand over the mic back to you. Thank you.
Let's have a better round of applause for our clerk. He has done very good climate setting on what to expect, and Mr. that have been put in the program are very critical. Liaison can confirm that they have been canvassed severally included in the program. So allow me, honorable members, to the Honorable Junet Mohammed, EGH, leader of the minority party. I'm not sure in this broad-based government. Everyone is majority. I hope so. So a round of applause for Honorable Junet Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I am the Right Honorable Speaker, Dr. Moses Wetangula, and the Chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Deputy Speaker, Madam Boss Sholei Gladys, Majority Leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, Deputy Majority and Minority Leaders, Chairpersons of committees, and my colleague members of Parliament and staff of Parliament, good morning. Mr. Speaker, it is my great pleasure first to welcome everyone to this important retreat of the House leadership. This gathering, Mr. Speaker, offers us a timely opportunity to reflect, strategize, and collectively chart the path forward as we guide the business of the National Assembly for the remainder of the 4th session. Mr. Speaker, what I wanted to say is that, Mr. Speaker, this is I want to thank you first for organizing this retreat that has been attended well by the leadership of Parliament, the chairpersons of the committees, their vice chairs, the leadership of KEWOPA, and senior members of the staff of the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was no better time to call for this retreat that you have called for than now, because this is a time we are at the middle of the journey where we need to take stock where we have come from and where we are and where we want to go as Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, this is the leadership of Parliament. When you put the chairpersons, the vice chairs, and the leadership together, this is what forms the conclave of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. You may be the Pope, the archbishops here, and bishops, and imams, everyone is here, Mr. Speaker, who make decisions in Parliament. Because our Parliament structure operates on a committee system. So it is very important for us to come together and discuss what goes on and what we intend to achieve with the committees that we have put in place at the beginning of the session, Mr. Speaker, of this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we are meeting at a time when many things are in the air. We are meeting at a time when everyone has an opinion, either in support of Parliament or against Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no better time than now for us to meet to discuss those issues. And Mr. Speaker, I looked at the program and I was requesting a change to the program where we need to have a closed-door session of chairs, vice chairs, and leadership as a conclave so that we can discuss a few issues that are very important to us as members of Parliament, so that we can either have a white smoke or a black smoke coming out of the chimney. Then we move forward, Mr. Speaker. That was my request to you, to include that in the program, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is us who are seated here who will determine the destiny of our Parliament. There are no other leaders that are going to come very soon. Only maybe 7 are away who will join us in December. But the leadership of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, today is here that you lead as the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, Parliament, I said earlier, operates in form of committees, and we have done well, in my view, both on oversight committees and departmental committees. But there are a few issues that always come up. I was watching the other day a session of a committee. For example, I want to share with you my experience. And a minister appeared there, the CS, and the CS was asked a question by a member of a committee that how much money do you give as capitation to schools? The minister said we give 16,000 shillings per student. Then a committee member asked him, Mr. Speaker, I want Mr. Speaker to listen to me on this. Clark, this is a very important issue. Can let the Speaker hear me? Mr. Speaker, I was saying I was watching a session of a committee in Parliament, which was live. A cabinet secretary appeared before a committee and he was asked a question. How much money do you give as capitation to schools, to children? He said we give 16,000 shillings per student. A member of the committee asked him, why are you not giving 22,000? That's what is the policy saying. That's what the policy says. He asked him, but the budget was in Parliament. Why didn't you increase it to 22,000? I just kept quiet. I said, this man now, that is one under an uppercut. Because he said, the money was with you, the budget was with you, and the policy was with you. Why didn't you increase it from 16,000 to 22,000? I didn't have an answer, I just kept quiet. So those are the issues that I want us to discuss in the conclave. So that among other things that we think are important. Mr. Speaker, I also saw a situation where one of my committees, the ones in the minority, I saw my chairman, a very senior chairman, who said that contract has been terminated. I told him, chairman, when have we gotten the powers to terminate government contracts? He told me, we shall talk, just wait. These people are misbehaving. So I told him, you're right, yeah, these people are misbehaving. So those are the issues that we are going to discuss in this parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that Parliament as a whole has done very well. If you look at the number of bills that we have passed the last 2 years under your leadership, Mr. Speaker, those are bills that have changed the lives of Kenyans. Whether it is in the housing sector, whether it is healthcare, whether it is roads. Mr. Speaker, I think this Parliament has been judged harshly because sometimes we could be the bogeymen or women of the politics of the country, Mr. Speaker. And people think that this is the best place to throw dirt whenever they are cornered. Mr. Speaker, among the bills that are before us is the Roads Maintenance Levy Fund Bill. Section 6 of the Kenya Roads Board Act is the financing keystone of the entire National Roads Program. Because of this, we must, as a House, prioritize the consideration of the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill 2025, sponsored by Honorable Peter Kaluma on behalf of the House Legislative Caucus. The bill seeks to cure the constitutional defect identified by the High Court in petition number E2423 of 2024, which held that Section 6 is unconstitutional for excluding county governments from the RMLF and faulted the prevailing road classification for undermining devolution. Apart from seeking to cure the constitutional defect, the bill introduces a new Section 47A in the Kenya Roads Act to clarify county responsibilities for maintenance, rehabilitation, and development of county roads within national standards and policies. This is the functional counterpart to the financing reform under Section 6 and is necessary to match funding with responsibility. Under the bill, each county is required to designate a competent roads department, open a special purpose account at the Central Bank of Kenya for RLMF transfers, and submit an annual roads program to the board at least 6 months before the financial year, with the board empowered to monitor, evaluate, and take remedial measures. The bill proposes that counties be given 5% share of the fund of the board, while corresponding adjustment of Kenya share from 40 to 36%, Kura from 15 to 14%, and Kera from 32 to 31%. Failure to prioritize the bill carries the grave risk of stalling the entire road program. So this bill, for example, Mr. Speaker, is very important to us. Extremely important, and those are the issues that I think we should discuss. Mr. Speaker, the other issue is that about tomorrow, we are going to meet, for example, the judiciary. But there is an important legal constitutional matter that requires our attention. In recent years, more than a dozen pieces of legislation had certain provisions declared unconstitutional by our courts. Yet in many such cases, those provisions remain on the statute books until Parliament takes action to amend or repeal them. This creates confusion in the application of the law and undermines the clarity of our legal framework. As the leadership of Parliament, we must establish a clear and efficient mechanism to ensure that whenever a court declares a law unconstitutional, prompt steps are taken to align our statutes with judicial determination. In doing so, Parliament must work closely with other relevant state agencies, such as the National Law Council for Law Reporting, which monitors the development of jurisprudence in Kenya and highlights judicial. But in short, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying, tomorrow we have to ask the judiciary, for example, they have declared many things unconstitutional, many laws we have passed. I don't know how. You see, before a bill is passed and is presented to the House, the Speaker and the legal department of Parliament checks properly the constitutionality of that bill. So when a court of law just declares unconstitutional, that is, I think, a very serious implication. It has a very serious implication on the part of Parliament. So I think tomorrow we need to get a common understanding with them. What makes them think these things, and can they clarify for us in a better manner? Because I saw a case like the cyber crime and computer misuse. We passed it last parliament. The judiciary declared it's a part of it unconstitutional. Then people started bullying the judiciary in the cyber space. They started crying again, saying that, oh, we are being bullied in the cyber. But you are the ones who say these things are unconstitutional. So you must carry the burden again of being abused and being maligned in the social media space. So they need to come clear to us how easy it is to make a bill, an act of parliament, unconstitutional. So, Mr. Speaker, I am looking forward to the closed session more than this one. I want to stop there, Mr. Speaker, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much and the staff for facilitating and making Parliament even look better. Now, when you're entering Parliament from the back side, the rear entrance, Mr. Speaker, that is the only place where now we can take visitors who are from out of the country. Unless you do something else in the front. Now our visitors can only enter from the back. That's when they will feel they have entered Kenyan Parliament, Mr. Speaker. The picture is there, yeah? I can see. Because the place where it used to be the media center, Mr. Speaker, it looks much, much better. For those of us who have gone to other jurisdictions, like Mr. Speaker, when you go to the House of Commons, I went with the former Speaker, J.P. Muturi, and we were served lunch there one time. I thought we are in a 5-6-star hotel, Mr. Speaker. That small dining should be done like that, so that when we quarrel with the chairs, we can go and have lunch there. They feel we are in a big hotel, Mr. Speaker. So with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you all for giving us an opportunity to meet. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the minority leader. And I want to support that speaker and the clerk. It actually is something we've been overlooking. We are hosting a lot of students. We didn't even have worship.
That is the Parliamentary National Assembly retreat happening in Mombasa, and that was the National Assembly Minority Leader, Junet Mohammed, speaking there, of course, speaking to what they plan to achieve with this meeting, talking about the relationship between the legislature as well as the judiciary and how some of the decisions by the judiciary have repealed some of the laws that have been passed by Parliament. Of course, we shall be following up those proceedings as they go and be bringing you updates during our bulletins. Now we want to get into our conversation of the day. Let's just get back to that particular retreat and have the majority leader speaking there. Let's listen into that.
Or is it colleagues? If Didmas is here. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say that it is indeed also my great pleasure to be here this morning for this third leadership retreat since the beginning of this 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, we are holding this retreat as leaders for the third time, and this speaks volumes of our commitment to ensuring that at all times we do not drop the ball of leadership but maintain the momentum until the end of the term. Honorable Speaker, indeed, just like any other journey, vision over time may meander, committee could also diminish as we focus on individual leadership roles, and finally, fatigue can actually set in, and the clerk has very well enumerated that and the risk that we could face if fatigue was to set in, especially as we approach the end of a journey. And this, Honorable Speaker, is true in life, in all journeys of life, not just in the journey of leadership. However, as leaders, we must maintain the momentum, we must keep the focus, and keep the vision, and maintain that vision to be able to realize the goals that we have set out to. And for us, Honorable Speaker, the principal goal is to make sure that we deliver to the people of Kenya what we did promise them individually as members of Parliament when we ran for office some 3 years ago, and also collectively as a House and as an administration, we must deliver to the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this journey of a leader is akin to a plane that must be put to maximum thrust to be able to take off. But put more thrust
to achieve altitude, maintain that speed at cruise mode, and when you approach your destination, just like in a plane, you must put the greatest thrust to ensure a smooth landing. And it is for this reason, Honorable Speaker, that when our plane took off as a house some 3 years ago, we had the thrust to take off. We are now at cruise altitude, or cruise mode, and we must maintain the momentum as the destination is fast approaching in 2027. And it's for these reasons, Honorable Speaker, why we are here today as leaders to renew our synergy as we work together to deliver for the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, looking at this session, as a House, we have made great progress in execution of our legislative, oversight and representation roles, and I must really commend all of us here as leaders in the House, as chairs and vice chairs of committees, and those who hold other various positions of leadership in the House. And we have effectively steered the House together in support of our Speaker and our role as leaders. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me to just mention a few of these achievements, we've held a record 79, almost 80 sittings, and so far we have been able to process about 65 bills at various stages. We have introduced about 157 motions, presented 116 questions to various cabinet secretaries, requested for 296 statements, considered 53 statutory instruments, including the last one that we considered the day before yesterday on the e-government procurement, laid a total of 2,302 papers and considered 148 committee reports, most of them churned by you as the leadership in committees. And this is amongst other business, Honorable Speaker. And these are not just statistics or numbers. The numbers represent long days and nights spent by members both in plenary and in committees of the House discharging their constitutional duties. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, I've said I must commend these honorable members, because for every report of the 148 reports that we have considered, it has taken many of our members many long man hours to be able to consider that business. We have also considered the approval of various persons, including cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, commissions or commissioners to various constitutional commissions and other public offices. And notably, Honorable Speaker, we have also implemented the recommendations that required the actions of Parliament in the implementation of the NADCO report, which I was fortunate to have co-chaired with the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. And to this end, Honorable Speaker, you're aware that this House vetted and approved the IBC commissioners, which is now in place. We have since also passed the other NADCO bills, like the Election Offences Amendment Bill, which we just passed last week, but one, which seeks to amend the Election Offences Act to give effective recommendations and views of the public on electoral justice and electoral integrity. Honorable members, as we move towards the tail end, or rather the second half of this Parliament, we will have a lot of business lined up for us. There are priority bills that we'll consider relating to the electoral cycle. And honorable members, not just bills that will be proposed by members. I am already aware the new IBC Commission is already working to adopt a number of the electoral related bills that were considered by the previous commission, and I'm certain in due course they will be before Honorable Murugara's committee. But honorable members, in every journey, just as I was giving that analogy of the plane, even at cruise altitude, you will encounter challenges and there will be turbulence. And the Honorable Speaker has requested that at an appropriate time within this session or within this retreat, we'll be able to have some time alone, a quiet time for ourselves as members, to have some introspection of how far we are, the turbulence that we have encountered mid-air at cruise altitude, while remaining steady on the captain's seat to ensure that that plane does not come down. Because if the plane was to come down, it would have devastating results, not just for the passengers on the plane, but also for those on the ground, literally speaking. So if Parliament was to come down as an institution, the devastation will not just be to us as members of Parliament, but also to the people we represent, our democracy and our nation. And therefore we must remain steady, we must ensure that we steady the ship amidst all the turbulence that could be there from wherever that turbulence could come. It could be as a result of bad weather, it could be as a result of having other issues with the plane, but we must ensure that the plane remains on course. And with that, Honourable Speaker, allow me to just mention that we have our successes, we have our stories of success to tell, but we also have our challenges as a house, as an institution, and also individually as leaders. And Honourable Speaker, if you allow me to just mention one of the challenges that I have seen and which I continue to foresee in the foreseeable future that probably we should be able to consider during this retreat is a challenge of misinformation and disinformation. And this is a challenge that faces the House today, and the issue of misinformation or disinformation, even with the statistics that I have enumerated, Honourable Speaker, if the public is not involved and correctly informed on the business of the House, our work will usually always be in vain. The public will never ever be able to see our work because of the creeping culture of misinformation and disinformation, and especially in this AI age. And indeed, as the social media and governance space continues to grow, where reporting now is at the click of a button. You do not need to wait for news at the end of the day or wait for newspapers the following day. At the click of a button and typing, news is out there. We must, as a House, find ways of addressing the issue of false reporting on the business of the House. And I appreciate the efforts that the House has put in place to ensure enhanced public participation through social media platforms, much more remains to be done to ensure that there is timely dispatch of information to the public, and not just dispatch of information, but the right information. You will, for instance, members, recall the fate of the Finance Bill of 2024, which provisions we later passed in the tax laws. Disinformation largely led to the loss of that bill and the public uproar, despite the bill having some very progressive provisions that were intended to, among other things, boost local manufacturing and promote economic growth. And I must take this opportunity also to thank all of us as a House, because later, when we did the tax laws and the business laws in December of the same year, we are able to pass all these bills without any incident and without any loss in the country. What then can we do better? And that, Honourable Speaker, is what I have seen as a principal objective of this retreat. It is my hope that in this retreat we will have an opportunity to share ideas, and I'm happy to see the Honourable KJ here, who I've also noted has a slot on the program to share with us ideas on what we can do better, especially in communication. And what is clear is that we must work very closely with the media, and this is both the mainstream media and even innovative other channels of media, to ensure that there is timely dissemination of factual information to the public. And in developing this strategy, Honourable Speaker, we must be guided by the analogy that we have all been told many times of some 6 blind men and the elephant. And that story goes that there are 6 blind men who were tasked to touch a lion and say what it is without being told what it is. And the first man touched the trunk of the elephant and said, "This must be a very thick neck." The second one touched the ear and said, "It must be a fan." The third one touched the legs and said, "This thing must be a tree trunk." The fourth one touched the side of the elephant and because of the rough skin and hardness, said this must be a wall. Remember, these are blind men. The fifth one touched the tail and said it was a rope. And lastly, the sixth one touched the elephant's tusk and said this is a spear at the tip. Honorable members, you will appreciate that these men being blind, all of them were correct because they said what they perceived it to be after touching it. The one who touched the Karoli, nobody touched what you asked. Because you know Karoli Omondi signaling me to say things that are not in that analogy, and he knows it because I've shared it with him before. But the perception by each of these people were correct because they said what they perceived from what they had each touched. But they never touched the complete elephant, all of them. Everybody touched a part of the elephant and said what they said. And it was correct. And this is a story of how misinformation and disinformation works. When we do not offer timely dissemination of information in the House, the public will always perceive what is out there to be the truth, and they are right, because that is what they have perceived. And that's why I say we have that challenge to be able to discuss amongst ourselves and see how best can we communicate, not just from the clerk's office and the speaker's office or the leadership offices, but also individually, because we all appear in media stations. Many a times, Honorable Speaker, I've seen members appear on TV stations and speak to the issues that are before the House based on what they are reading in the media and seen on social media, but not based on the actual facts of what is before the House. And therefore, continuously, we must continue educating ourselves, taking a little bit more time to read, understand what is before us, so that we are also partakers in the dissemination of correct information. Honorable Speaker, we have bills that are stuck because the clerk did allude to the fact that I should speak to many of the issues, but I don't want to take a lot of time, Honorable Speaker. But we have a number of bills that are stuck in mediation, and I think it's only one mediation committee that is yet to be set up. We have challenges where members have been appointed to mediation committees. Some bills date back to 2022, 2023 at the inception of this House and are still stuck in mediation. For instance, the bill that was processed by Mutunga's Committee on Food and Feed Security, that bill is still stuck in mediation, and we need to work on ways to unlock many of these bills. We have a number of reports, and case in point is the Economic Partnership Agreement, which I was discussing with Honorable Shinali last week and Honorable Marianne Kitanyi. That agreement, which is a critical agreement for our country, for business and economic activities between us and UAE, has been stuck in the committee for the last 6, almost 7 months. So we need to look into many of those things in during this retreat. We have priority business, Honorable Speaker, that is coming ahead of us. Top among this, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Chair Education, Honorable Mary, who is on phone and speaking so loudly that I can hear him from here. Honorable Speaker, I was saying we have a number of critical bills. Honorable Junet has alluded to some of them. Some that have gone to court and been declared unconstitutional that we need to redo. Top among this is a privatization bill, which as you will note.